Welcome! In today's episode, we're going to show you how to build a very simple jig that will allow you to very effectively and perfectly align all your hardware in your doors, regardless if they have one or two connection points. So stick around, you're still our favorite viewer and this is going to be a fun episode. So this is how your jig should look like. Ensure that these are perfect square, right, inside, before you start using it. And here's an example. If those are two doors, the reason we have it in both sides, one door, the other door. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Excellent. So let me verify that we're square. It is very important that your jig is perfectly square. And we're square there.
Good.
And hopefully we're square the other direction. Yeah.
Looks good.
All right. Thank you. So here is another tip for when you do your drilling. Use a scrap piece to make sure that the hole you're drilling, or the drill bit you're using, is big enough to accept the screws that came, your 5 hardware that came with your push. And as you can see, ours just drop in.
Yeah.
Also, you notice I'm using a thick piece because sometimes if you use a thin piece, it looks like it goes, but it doesn't.
Right.
So the door is not probably as thick, but even if it is, using a thick piece guarantees that your opening will accommodate your screw, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now the next step will be to make the marks on our jig and test it. If your handle has two connection points, like ours does, this is a little more difficult, right? And that's what necessitates the jig. Otherwise, the jig will still be useful for one point, but it becomes indispensable for two, right?
Right.
So put a piece of tape, a normal painter's tape, and then use an awl
Punch.
and make the two holes where your openings are. And then bring that. We have made the point of where we think we want our pieces to be, and then we're going to make sure that it matches. The two pieces match the holes we made. And in our case, it looks like I did, right? We can see the little dots in there.
Marker. Yeah.
So, but you can do it either way. You like this idea, Mrs. DIY?
Yeah, it's
With the
great.
tape?
It's a great idea.
So now we're going to actually make the holes and do a test. Make your two holes. And then I'm going to use 2 screws and make sure that the template works, right? The jig allows you perfect placement of your hardware, regardless if your door open right or left, and it is persistent and consistent throughout your kitchen in every cabinet without having to remeasure or recalculate anything. Indeed it does, right?
Yay!
Okay, excellent. And here you can see how simple it is to use the jig. So use the jig and position it. If your door is not on your cabinets, like ours is not, make sure you're on the other side of the hinges, because that's where the corner is, right? It is easier to install the hardware with the door off the hinges. And going straight through. Go all the way to the end. Okay. now remove the jig and we have perfect holes. And here is our handle installed. This actually is easier to do it when they're hanging, so you don't have to go from underneath for the screws. But in this case, we have finished painting them, and this was on the sawhorses, so we decided to do it here. You can do it anyway. It's easier for you either on the sawhorses after you paint, or on the actual cabinets when you're done and behind. I hope you enjoyed this very useful episode on how to make a jig that will allow you to very easily, effectively, and with precision install new hardware to your existing cabinets. If you did, we'll appreciate a thumbs up. If you didn't, hit that button twice. Share, like, subscribe, and let us know you want to see more episodes like this in the future. From Professor DIY, let's update some kitchen cabinets together. Have fun!